Ladies, gentlemen, germs, germettes, it's time for the very first Digimon lore video.
The after lore.
Meet my victims, I mean players, on the right of me. Or I guess I should be saying on the right of the planet on my end. We have the Smap,
Hello.
Madam Chaos herself. And probably the resulting factor of many difficulty spikes in this game. On the left, the unfortunate, the miserable, the blackmailed into being here, Miss Freya.
Hello.
I know we've been excited for this. I'm not gonna lie. If it wasn't for Dragon's Dogma and playing Rise of the Ronin, I'd probably be too busy being depressed. So please bow down, kiss the feet, the mighty, mighty, saintly feet of Freya, for salvaging what little left is of me.
And I hate to say it, but my computer's having a conniption, so I'm gonna have to restart.
Okay.
I'll be back.
We're gonna splice this so this way when she's back it'll be less jarring. Actually, you know what? No, that's... And a call, random ass call from someone in Washington State. I swear. People need to get a life, or a job, or a different job. Ugh. You know what? We're just gonna say fuck it and we're just gonna wait for Smap. Yes, it's awkward. Yes, it's weird. Yes, the phone call made it more awkward and more weird, but fuck it. We've already reached the bottom. There's nowhere to go but up. I think.
I keep getting weird calls from like you can tell they're scammers because it doesn't make sense when you hear the information, and they claim to be from my internet service provider, and they're like, yeah, we're calling because you're going to be getting like X amount of discount or something, but then they're asking for like information, like my information and stuff. Like, no.
So, I've literally gotten 8 calls in a single day about how I apparently meet the requirements for both natural and surgical fat reduction surgery. Yes, this is the same freaking person has called me so many times and texted me to the point where I have blocked them, and every time they call, I listen to their voicemail so I can laugh till my spleen hurts. Or until my spleen finally pops, whichever comes first. Well, I want to kind of make a joke about us being sponsored, but anyone who knows this channel or knows me knows that a sponsor will never happen. That shit ain't never gonna happen. The only way a sponsor happens if I'm the sponsor for me. That's the only way that shit happens.
You never know.
Oh, I know. I know. I've paid very good, close attention to the way the world works. I know for a fact I'm never gonna have a sponsor unless it's me. Because I am too perverted and too honest and too not popular. Granted, I don't mind the whole not popular bit. It gives me strength. Call him.
So I just got a bunch of different warnings on my PC.
What the heck?
Terrifying.
Yeah, a bunch of DLL errors.
Well,
Ugh. Now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we can light on fire, let's do this. Get this intro done as quick as we can. Smabsy, who the fuck is you?
Hello.
Who'd you play? What'd you do? Why you do what you do? Go.
Well, I play Plasmon, and I am a child of a certain group of people, upon which we know one is alive and one is dead. And that is me. I also, as Plasmon, very much more outgoing than the human counterpart.
Now, I do appreciate you guys kind of leaning into the fact that some stuff kind of needed to get revealed about your backstories, because let's be honest here, until recently, we were playing them a little too close to our chest. Not by enough to be bad.
I was planning on doing it then.
So it worked out. That's good. But dear Lord, I noticed we kept it really tight-chested, and I didn't notice that till literally just last session. Which, to be fair, if anyone's going to be blamed the most for that, it falls on my ass. So I wanted to apologize to you both. I'll try and do better on that part a little bit. But now, we've gotten that introduction. Now to victim number 2. Dear Madam Freya, who you play, what you do, why you do what you do. Too bad.
Oh.
Hey, I already did a shoddy job, which means you don't have to do much better.
No, you don't. In fact, if anything, you could actually do slightly worse if you wanted. Just so long as this is the Digimon I play. Insert whatever you want after that.
I play Lucimon. The character is, my character is a Norse nomadic witch who travels and uses her magic in combat to help people that are fighting and stuff like that, like their causes and whatnot.
So I love you. Why didn't you know that?
Yeah.
You just did me a little bit of a favor. I'd have to pry teeth to get to more stuff revealed today. Cool. Technically, you didn't have to say that part. I'm just glad you did, though, because it makes my job easier. Now, as it was just hinted at, we have a nomadic witch from Norse family, and as she is discovering for herself, there might be more to her story. Dun 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 dun. No, she didn't plan on it, or no, I was going to do it. I just did it because more lore, yay.
I should put in, I'm also a scientist and a manga author.
I'm also going to add in, you also have connections to a very specific group of doctors. I'm not going to say who, because lore. Yes, I'm letting my inner gremlin out. Shut up.
Hey, we did it during game. Just look at the time we climbed a wall.
That was so much fun.
That was fun.
I still can't believe you literally just decided, fuck you, I'm going to climb back down. I'm going to climb down your wall, despite the fact that you literally pointed 2 stairs and said, please use. No, fuck you. Repair these walls, bitch.
But, timeline-wise, the first episode where you started the game, like, I honestly didn't know exactly how you were going to push the narrative and how you were going to make things work. And especially when you gave me 3 choices out the gateway. And how I chose the forest. And how that went that first time. I felt like I almost died.
So, it's so funny you bring that up. So I'm going to bring up that lovely little time. The funny thing is that while I don't want you to die, there were ways you could have made yourself die. Probably the quickest and worst one would have been just going straight towards the pyramid. If you had done that, you would have gone into that 2-stage boss fight at level 1. You struggled. Would not have been fun. You struggled hard, and you were like what, level 3?
I think you had me level 2.
You were like 2 or 3. I can't remember which exactly.
It was like attack, miss, attack, miss, attack, miss, and then I finally started hitting. It was like the fucking last mini boss we had all over again. The freaking metal motorcycle wheel guy. It was like that all over again.
And you're not done with that guy either.
I know.
Yeah, you have something far worse coming up for your ass. And the funniest part is that technically, for those of you Digi-Nerds out there, basically, the neat thing is that Rebelmon is technically the proper ultimate form of Ogremon, technically speaking. But we're about to break some damn rules aggressively when he returns.
Also, I don't see your reactive up there.
Oh yeah,
at
I
all.
just decided to have the image there. Just to make it a little cleaner looking. I guess I could try to turn the... Ooh! I came up with a good one.
Ooh, what's that?
I came up with good shit. I came up with that good shit. That good shit. Yeah.
Oh no, he's on the Kush.
I wish. Sadly, I'm
But
natural.
the moon.
I am all natural Kush. I am the Kush to end all Kushes. That's how it done always be. You just ain't know it.
And
Is
now
you
we get
ready?
the moon?
Oh, you get some worse than the moon. Don't you worry.
Aw, but I like the moon.
I hope you're ready. Just let me pull up what I need to here.
Oh my god, your face in the moon?
That's not big guess. I just have to alter some shit.
So- The first episode was actually, like, before I actually met Lucimon, played by Freya, also known as Kami around these parts. It was a two-parter where I had met Gigimon, and my brain keeps forgetting the one I accidentally murdered through blackout.
Yeah, Digimon.
Oh, that was Gigi?
Yeah, you murdered.
So then it was was it Grandmamon or something?
No, Grandpa.
That was the other one?
Digimon is the grandfather, while Babamon is the grandma.
Oh, Baba, yes, Baba. I don't know why I kept thinking I killed the grandpa.
You did. That's
Oh,
why
I did! Oh, my brain!
Look,
The
GG means.
Digimon are confusing at times.
Look, let me make it easier for you. GG in Japanese basically means grandpa,
Ah.
while Baba more often than not means grandma. Or
Baba
a
Yaga.
nickname even. So just trying to think of that. In their Japanese, when you translate them, it basically means Grandpa-mon and Grandma-mon.
Oji-san.
But yeah, like, I just have to say, like, my first kill was accidental.
No, that was your second.
No,
No,
first
your first kill.
proper kill was accidental. I didn't mean to fry the guy's brain. Like, I knew, like, the explosions would probably do damage. I didn't expect the kill. But my first actual kill.
Let's just take
where
a
it was
step back
me.
here, alright? There's no way you don't realize that when someone's deep fried hard enough, they die. I'm sorry, you're a scientist. That justification, that cope mechanism, doesn't work. Find a better one, buddy.
Hey, they went in the fire. They're dumb. That's their own
That's
fault.
not what killed
They could've
them.
done better.
That's not what killed them. You killed them by electrocuting them. That's what killed them. Not the fire. The fire did not come close to killing them truly on its own. You did the most
And
work.
my character will always cope by thinking the first death was the one I accidentally electrocuted.
Just for right now, though, let's stow the cope until we're in the game. That's all I ask. When we're out of game, that cope's gotta die. Because the rest of us cannot laugh that hard without the risk of us dying next. Okay?
Look,
It's too funny.
eventually in the story, I am planning on her being more in tune with the idea of none of this was on accident.
Yeah. Now, to be
And I
fair,
have to deal with that.
I'll give you the fairness, though, of this. Okay? You were...
Oh my god, I just realized you turned yourself into the goddamn moon!
Yeah.
Yo, let's go!
So, here's the thing is, while that cope thing, out of game, it's too funny, it's gonna kill us, please ease with it. On the other hand, though, I'm gonna say that, no, you don't take it that route of, it's all my fault, I'm a monster, something like that. You were defending yourself, so we're gonna go for more of a gray area, agreed?
Well, I wasn't exactly gonna go with I'm a complete monster. It's like,
Oh, I was worried you're gonna go
deal
down that
with
route.
that. We're in a land where we have to defend ourselves, and sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do.
I was worried you were gonna go the whole I'm a monster.
I'm gonna eventually get to a part where we can role play that.
Oh, and I have to prep myself mentally for that because
But
you're gonna have a high body count by the time we're done.
But yeah, like the best part of the first 2 episodes was when I got that evolution, and this like if anyone knows,
The evolution you
my
weren't supposed to get
evolution
yet.
is based on an anime called Guyver the Bio Boosted Armor. One of the things Guyver can do is extend his blades and slice through things. And I'm so glad the DM let me do that in the shoddy pyramid, because as we were riffing on each other, making it sound shittier and shittier, I was like, probably weak enough for me to pull this off, and the DM let me. So I survived. The only downside was the death of my newest friend. Poor Mimicmon.
Again, I find this so funny.
I can't believe I still remember his name.
Those the. Well, I mean, that is impressive. Like, I'm actually kind of proud and touched a little bit. Like, I actually feel proud and misty-eyed. Damn. Now I have to try and ease into pride and bring it back. Basically, it's so funny because basically, some people don't know this, but Smab has played D&D and has been DMing. So when
I've been DMing for over 5 years.
When I shove in a literal Digimon mimic and drop as many hints as I did about it being a mimic, I kind of expect a Smab to skip some steps and be like, oh, hell nah, and not interact with it much.
But I had to play in character, as the character didn't know exactly about what mimics were. They don't play TTRPGs. They just know lingo like Star Wars and stuff.
They are a scientist and a turbo nerd. I doubt that, but very well. I'll run with it, but I doubt it.
No, the idea for her was talking box? Someone's inside the box. Someone's trapped in the box. Not once did mimic ever cross her mind.
But anyways,
you'll notice with my character, I use he and she interchangeably, and you'll find that out via lore eventually.
I mean, no. It's pretty obvious. It's like...
Doesn't mean it can't be roleplayed in the future.
True. And I have no idea on the exact steps for that either. Because I have a feeling it's going to get a lot more gray. I'm betting money it's going to get a lot more gray before it gets any clearer.
It could be Season 2, Episode 1.
I will say, no. It's not going to be Season 2 where this happens. I make no promises about Season 3 or 4. I make no damn
eventually,
promises.
Our two characters are going to have a talk.
I'm going to assume you mean you two as in Freya.
Yeah, the two of our characters are going to have a conversation. Like, where exactly you come from? Where'd you come from? Why XYZ?
So here's the thing. Normally, I would incentivize this, or I would let you two decide this. I'm going to decide this for once. I do apologize that ahead of time. But the sole reason is because right now in the narrative, trying to do that now would be a mess. Let's consider coming back to that idea sometime around like Season 3, where it's a little less chaotic.
Hey, it doesn't mean we can't flirt with the idea.
True enough. Speaking of, that slides us beautifully right into the next thing. Are you ready? Here is some lore I'm going to drop on you guys. Right now, what's basically happened so far, you guys have managed to get through a really tough fight. Multiple tough fights, let's be real. You've both gotten your asses corrupted in different ways. I'm gonna apologize for that ahead of time. Again, I didn't think rolls would be so bad, and I didn't expect Plasmon to do what Plasmon do. That's my fault.
Plasmon do what Plasmon do.
Why
also, I love the dichotomy of our corruption.
Yeah. One of you is corrupted light, the other is corrupted darkness. Or I shouldn't say corrupted darkness, I should say just raw darkness, to be fair.
Raw, uncorrupted negative force.
Yeah. And the other one is corrupted light. Hence why she keeps turning into Valhallamon every time she speaks. Don't know if she noticed yet.
Yeah, I saw that.
Cool. I'm going to extend your image a little bit because Valhallamon looks very tiny. Tiny, tiny, tiny.
Yeah, that had to be due to the aspect ratio by which I had to draw the character.
Yeah, I'm also going to increase your
Wings
size.
are rather large.
I'm just going to increase both of your guys' sizes just a good bit. You're not going to be on par with the moon, but your guys are going to be a good bit better.
We'll be rivaling the moon at least halfway.
I wouldn't go that far if I were you. I would say you rival each other.
Oh, my brain. We eventually fight the moon. As the moon is the voice that controls us.
I wish.
Aw. I want to kill a celestial being.
Well, you're still going to get to kill a celestial being, but it's definitely not a moon or what this is supposed to be, which is the digital world.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought that. I know. At one point you had told me that's what it is, but my brain was like, "Nah, this is a moon."
Nope, this is where you're standing, suckers.
Oh my god, that's so cool. I forgot about that.
For me. Tactical evil. I mean, brilliance. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, on episode 3, I'm going from episode to episode because I'm gushing. Should I stop?
No, I'm enjoying this, and it's making me feel endlessly proud.
So,
especially
on episode 3 was when we officially got our second player, and that episode was very interesting for me because me and Gamin had resigned to the fact that it was more than likely just gonna be me and us riffing off each other. And then we got to talking, I got to drawing, and we ended up with Lucimon, who, when I wrote it down, I wrote Lucy as in the person, not Lucy with an I. Which, oof, that went over my head. But the original art that I used, which the vast majority of art that you've seen me work with for this series has basically, at least on Freya's end, has been through AI. Which I've then transformed. Or on my end, I've been taking pictures from the internet because I know exactly what I want to work with.
The funnier part is and I actually kind of find this hilarious. So for Lucimon's rookie form and for her ultimate, we kind of wound up using a big image creator because desperation. And oh shit, Valhallamon was not planned. I did not expect a 51 for fuck's sakes. But here we are. So it's so funny. For her, it's the rookie and the ultimate. Meanwhile, for your end, it's just the ultimate and not even fully. I pulled an image from there, but then you took that image, altered that image so radically to the point where it's not even the same
You gave me one image, and I was like, hold my beer, I have a better one.
And that's how this happened. Honestly, it's helped a lot for expediting the art process. But I'm going to tell you right now, none of it would have worked without SMAP. End of story. If it wasn't for SMAP, none of this shit would have worked artistically at all.
I just wish I had the shading ability. It's not something I'm capable of, really, at the moment.
I wish I had ability. So, you're winning.
But, still gushing on episode 3 here. I like the fact that we now have a reoccurring villain in the form of the old Goblin Mon that fucking kept hurting itself because it couldn't fight properly in its first form. Then thought later it showed the same fucking flaw, and I love that so much.
The crazier part is that what inspired me was how he was constantly hurting himself. I'm like, fuck it, he's constantly hurting himself. Let's lean into this and make it a strength. His corruption's dealing damage to him, but in doing so is making him stronger, more violent, more oppressive.
I thought that was cool.
Like, I was just like, he's already failing miserably. Let's take this comedy act and turn it into power.
And that was also the first episode that you actually showed off your version of the bangle or the gear or the choker, and it was a goddamn spike.
And you know what's the best part?
That was so cool.
We added in another item, as you well know, the gift from Lady Devamon. Now, the funny thing is, Lady Devamon did not know what this ring would do. She just said it's been passed down for a long time. You can thank the ring for the now altered Lucimon evolutions. Lucimon's now no longer doing metal evolutions at all.
Oh.
She is corruption.
Oh,
Yep.
corrupt evolutions.
And the thing is that this honestly is kind of tactically brilliant, especially for her, because hers. The thing is, when you actually choose corruption, it's not even half as punishing, not even a quarter as punishing, and it's actually empowering a lot. Like to the point of where right now, when doing full power corruption, she can, on your best moments with your best rolls, keep up with you at full power. You at level 20 with unification, full cap, she can keep up with you now.
Oh, damn.
Just by relying on corruption. The thing is that
But,
I love the metal and I love armor, but they felt, one, too simple, even for buffs and benefits, but also felt too limited. So her choosing
they made
this,
an easy draw, though.
They did.
True.
But it was kind of like, I kind of don't want to limit. I don't like limits. I don't like bullshit limits. I don't like fake limits. I like basically telling artists and creative people or passionate people to just say, fuck it, go ham. That's my personal preference. And that's kind of, I'm actually, the thing is that these corruption buffs were already planned from the get-go. But to have her take it is just beneficial for not just her, especially since if she decides she wants to like do this stuff more often, lean into corruption intentionally, it's far better for her to already be that typing instead.
Whereas I hit it accidentally.
You hit it accidentally, and if you ever hit 70%, I don't know if Freya told you this. I hope she did. But basically, if you ever
I have been told nothing. We don't converse much.
Oh, for fuck's sake, sweetie.
Outside of D&D.
Sweetie.
Sorry. Oh my god.
Sweetie. Okay, I'll
Is it
tell
a full corrupt form?
It's worse than that. So infinitely worse than that. So at 70%, you become fully corrupt. From there, your odds of resisting it is, let's be honest here, negligible. It's not impossible, but it might as well be. And you might want to start making a second character.
Ah.
Now, if you hit 100, we have new problems. Not only do you need a new character now, but things are going to get very much hell for you and her and the whole world. I wasn't going to say this because I thought it'd be entertaining. But you know what? I'm just going to say it anyways. You're going to become the new BBEG. If you hit 100, you're the new big bad evil guy. You're the
Do I
evil.
get to kill the other BBEG?
Kind of. You get to consume his flesh and have his intestines hanging from your mouth.
Hoping for his soul instead.
No. I mean, that's going too. But you're going to be covered in entrails and blood.
Aww.
On top of
Not
having
cool.
his soul. And you're also going to try and kill the world. And you will have to make a second character. She's probably going to have to make a second character as well. And depending on roles, you might just want to accept that not only will you need a second character, but you're going to have to bring your A game for that second character. Again, this is all running with the if you hit 100. Please don't hit 100. Sincerely, your DM.
Is there a way to lower corruption?
Yes. And the saddest part is you actually halfway stumbled onto it by freaking accident.
Oh, is that through my purification of the boss?
No, actually.
Oh.
So when you expend energy is how. The thing is that you have to be expending, not negative energy, you just have to be expending energy. Your energy. And you have to be actively avoiding in taking more. Now, sure, for a time you're going to have this stuff kind of eke in a little bit, but so long as you're going out of your way to try to avoid it at least relatively consistently, it's going to drop faster than it's going to increase, even with you doing it unintentionally. It'll still drop faster. But that heavily relies on you to resist it, or at least to, for the most part, try to take precautions. Now, that doesn't mean you have to change your whole way of, doing your role playing or your character. It just means don't be a chronic dumbass. It means find the middle ground between dumbass and I am a scientist, technically. That middle ground, that's heavily advised when it comes to corruption for you.
Well, we've seen the dumbassery that is Plasmon and the occasions where the scientist is required. It's very much a Banner meets Hulk situation.
Yes. That's kind of the whole thing is, so long as you have this corruption in you, and once you hit 0, it's just gone. So you won't have to worry about it once it hits 0. But until you hit 0, it's like, okay, time for Hulk and Banner to have a powwow here. But like I said, once it's at 0, it's like, yay! Let's go! Party! Death beam, whee! It's just about, until it's, dealt with, it's kind of going to be like, oh man, still got a cold. Let's just deal with it for now. Cold gone? Time to go ape shit. Just think of it like a cold. It really is kind of like just a common cold for you right now. It's something you can easily remove. It's something easy to deal with. And it's going to fade faster than it'll build so long as you're not being 24/7 Hulk. And then there's her, who now is going to start leaning into that stuff. And honestly, the more she leans into it, the better for her. Whereas for you right now, getting to 100% is detrimental. In her case, getting to 100% is beautiful, idealistic glory. That's a good way to summarize it. Her getting to 100%, it is, I am God, killer of all, drop dead before my grace. That's the benefits of actually being that type. And technically, we haven't even gotten to the big shit for you yet either. That's right, there's still more for you. You think I gave her this huge power up and I ain't gonna give you shit? Oh no, Smapsy, I have something waiting in the wing for you. The problem is it's season 2. No, it's not episode 1. C'est la vie.
And here I thought in the afterlore we were going to go by episode by episode.
No. Technically, no. The thing is, there was stuff I wanted to get out before we went episode by episode. So it just kind of happened. The ways. And stuff. But now we're going to go episode by episode, now that we've gotten these important details out the way. So starting at episode 1.
We talked about episode 1.
Oh, there's still more to talk about. So the funny thing is
technically episode 1's a 2-parter.
We're going to ignore the fact that it's a 2-part and just discuss it in one go. So the neat thing I feel like about that first beginning is that there were ways you could, mess it up and get yourself killed. But the funny thing I found out is that in trying to get yourself killed, you wouldn't have killed Digimon. I find it so interesting that there are choices that you made that honestly I had prepped for, but I didn't expect. And you did that pretty consistently throughout much of it, where you did things that are beneficial and weren't bad by any stretch, no lie, but that I wasn't expecting you to do. And I found that
no one expects the Plasquisition.
Yeah, the Plas coefficient is vehemently violent and affects all things. Now, the thing is in the second batch, when you're going up against your two-faced boss, the first one, by yourself, you're getting your ass beat at first. by a like level what 2 warlock. No, sorry, level 2 wizard. So almost worse in a sense.
You made it sound like it was levels above me.
No. At first, it started off as only about the same level or one level above you. Now here's the kicker. When it entered its second phase, it gained 2 levels. And had its class setup changed to be that of a wizard and fighter combo. No, sorry. Wizard warlock combo. Blech. With a little bit of fighter. One level of fighter, just to make something clear. It was just crazy. Because I didn't expect you to be having such a hard time. I didn't expect the rolls like
for
that.
you.
But then you brought up cutting down a pyramid and dropping it on your opponent. Bravo on that.
The first ever how do you want to do this drink moment.
Yeah. Sadly, I didn't think we would already have that moment already, so I didn't have tequila already in my flask. I just had water.
Stage 1 of the Plasco efficiency.
Yeah. And when originally my girl was... Now here's the thing is, I didn't think I was going to be able to blackmail or bribe my girl hard enough to get her in on this game, honestly. So to hear that, to be here where she's this far in and is having as much fun as she claims. Or it could be lies in the seats. Dun, dun, dun.
No.
And I didn't have to do any of that. I just had to ask and explain a few things.
Yeah. But the thing is I wasn't expecting to get that second player. I really wasn't. So to have gotten it, but also for it to have been my girl was kind of neat feeling. Especially since I've been trying to get her to at least attempt D&D for a while, and it hasn't gone anywhere. The closest I've gotten is Baldur's Gate 3, and even then, oof. Smab has
Helps
done...
when there's an aged teacher.
The funny thing is that, honestly, Smab has done not just an infinite better job teaching than Baldur's Gate, but an infinite better job than teaching me, or better job than teaching... better job at teaching than me or Baldur's Gate 3 combined.
Remember,
So,
friend, words are things that exist.
take a bow, please, madame. Take a good bow. Because like I said...
I would, but I have a bad leg.
I've been trying to teach my girl D&D, Baldur's Gate 3, tabletop RPGs. I've been trying, and it hasn't really gone anywhere. It's not gotten anywhere. She has learned more and has had more stick here with Smab's teaching than Baldur's Gate 3, Divinity Original Sin 2, and me combined.
Not to mention we're playing a highly modified version of D&D.
So heavily. Like, to the point of where if any rules lawyers ever watch this, they will hate me, curse me, and probably plot to put me on a spike.
To which we say, this is Digimon and Dragons, not Dungeons and Dragons.
Plus, I hate rules that destroy fun. I prefer fun.
Though rules are there to guide.
Yes. They're not a necessity, though. They're not life or death. I will say there was some fun things about here. Trying to figure out what things to take from the real world to add in here, which slides perfectly into one of our episodes. Digi Las Vegas.
First mayhap, during that, the whole... When I found out about the real world after that episode...
Oh, you went ape
when I
shit.
was pacing on the floor... This also happened to be the episode where we lost 50 minutes.
Yeah. Lost.
But all that pacing I did... I watched your video a few times seeing you so happy and giddy. It's infectious, my friend.
Just the effect that had, honestly. The fact that it made Smab start to pace, that it got my girl, honestly, even though she's not as vocal about it, she was going full theory nutcase too. So to see my players and to see them just going ape shit, losing their minds, coming up with theories. The thing is To me that brought me endless pride, endless joy, and made me feel some shit I ain't felt before. Like I felt tingly and fuzzy on the inside. I felt warm. And for once, I can't even blame perversion. I'm just happy, smiling like a dumbass. Like, if I billed my ass for every second that I was smiling like an idiot or making noises, I could buy Oprah and the planet and still wonder, okay, what's next to purchase? Oh, I haven't bought Bezos' ass yet? Don't worry, we'll fix that. Yo, Bezos, I own your ass now. Like, it's that level of how often I was smiling and giddy and freaking making stupid noises.
And just like that, you own Amazon. You now get free deliveries for life.
Ah. I am now the rich and powerful, and Oz is my bitch.
And then it's just me pop in. I'm gonna go to bed. But episode 3.
Just that whole. No, I didn't know this, and I actually had to apologize to Smoke for. So the thing is I made Shogun Gekkomon because of his massive size and the fact that even for a Shogun Gekkomon, he is abnormally massive. And I know my girl loves to smoke, so I was just like, yo, let's take some inspiration there. He's a heavy smoker. Then I remember
I didn't know you were my mortal enemy.
And then I remembered that a lot of shoguns are depicted as smoking. From a kind of a long pipe almost that they would
Kind
smack.
of pipe in a way.
Yeah. So I was just like, yo, he's Shogun Gekkomon. He's a giant shogun of Digimon Las Vegas. He's gotta smoke now. He's gotta smoke like a chimney.
Honestly, when I saw the picture, I'm like, his name is Shogun Gekkomon. Why does this man have trumpets in his picture?
That's just because those are attached to them. If you look at Gekkomon, you'll kind of get it.
I know, but like Shogun, he doesn't really give the Shogun vibes. Yeah. But when you described him and how he talked, I felt the vibes.
Yeah, the thing is, it wasn't just... I didn't want to give him like your typical stereotypical Shogun talk, like, oh, you dishonor me. I wanted
you dishonor your family, you dishonor your cow.
I wanted a Shogun who didn't command the people just because he's rich or just because of his size or stature. I wanted to make a Shogun that people followed because they felt drawn to him. That's why even like for Dokunimon and Kunimon, who mind you haven't seen the last of those two little worm motherfuckers. You're gonna see them again, too. But that's when I was able to drop in another... During that episode, I was able to drop in something that I honestly enjoyed dropping in because it messed with my friggin' players' heads so much. I made a hint that, despite the fact that to them it hadn't been that long, that they have had their entire sense of time and space fucked with so much that even though it has been only a couple of days for Plasmon since she murdered, brutalized, and massacred Gigimon, it has been months already. It has been 2 months already since Gigimon's massacre. But what I enjoyed was not only did this start like contribute into some of the crazy theories that got thrown out. I'm going to be merciful and just tell you that there is one of them you threw out that's just blatantly wrong.
Well, that's the thing of theories. Some of them hit, some of them don't.
And it's going to tell you also now, again, some of them got so close, it was eerie. Like, they were missing a couple things here and there, but they were so creepily close. And because I think you've pretty much have gotten enough concrete evidence that me saying it now isn't really spoilers at all in the slightest. But it's very clear something's happened here where Digimon and humans clearly have met, clearly influenced each other, and then something went to shite.
I blame the Asada Corporation.
Hmm. No. I like that idea, though. But
Doesn't mean I can't still blame them.
so the funny thing is you've actually already been given a big hint on who's the most to blame for your whole situation.
Really?
Mm-hmm. In fact, you've been receiving this hint since the start.
Oh god, it's Voice Guy, isn't it?
I mean, he is the Digimon symbol of death, and is basically the
I didn't know
equivalency
that.
of a Digimon demon. Oh, you did! Shogun Gekumon
Oh
told you
god,
that
I
shit.
put him on the list!
Huh?
He's on my list!
So the funny thing is that you do know this because Shogun Gekumon gave you this info before getting brutalized beyond recognition by you two. Not only is
My brain doesn't exactly remember it, so I'm gonna play it as Plaz wasn't entirely listening.
which is possible he was smoking like a freaking hardcore chimney.
By the way, the description of that, our DM here did not know that, my entire family smokes and I don't, so I had a physical reaction to the description. Which was why I was coughing so much that session.
Okay, sorry. I didn't know that.
Hey, the fact that I reacted like how I did is a what's the word here? I forget the word, but it's a positive word about how you're capable of describing something so that it actually activates something for me in real life.
Kiss ass.
Oh yeah, you did an amazing job at describing it. That's it.
Kiss asses.
No, that's the honest truth.
So it's so funny, but basically, after the loss of the 50 minutes, which I'm not gonna lie, that kind of wrecked me.
My All Might moment.
The loss of the All Might moment, the loss of this touching moment of where, for once, you're not being run out of a village, but you are witnessing people mourn in a more healthy and less combative way. Having this moment of where not only do you have this All Might moment, but you have this this shared moment of where you two are both promising to Dokunimon and Kunimon to get justice for them, to shake what's possessing you.
And that wasn't the last time I made that promise. Mm-hmm. Or the first time, for that matter.
Nope.
Like,
you made
I promised
the same promise.
Gigi. And I essentially did the same in the last place we were at by promising to help with the queen, and then by extension of also the queen, help out the queen. So I've done it 4 times in various different ways.
And another thing is, you guys have kind of had this really kind of, especially for our new player here, you had this kind of really touching moment right at the end, the last not breathing, I should say, the last spectral seconds with Shogun Gekumon, and it's this moment of clearly endless respect and hope as he hands you his own pipe. Thank God it shrank down or you'd be crushed by it. And it says she's a cigarette nut. She knows what basically half a cigarito is. She knows how small that is. And yet it is constantly has tobacco in it to burn. It never runs out, and it gives her so much more power.
Ah, an Everburn, I see.
Kinda. It's the thing that's allowing her to basically cast all her spells as a bonus action.
Then
we have
the funniest sorry to interrupt you there, but one of the funnier parts of that episode was just like when it's like, "Oh, take you get whatever you want from here. You could take whatever," and you're just laying on the accents of like, "Hey, yo, what do you want? We got this, we got that, we got this, we got that. What do you want?" And I'm just like, "We just need some health potions." It's like, "Get some health potions over here."
What's the?
It was awesome.
I'm gonna just take a buff table for a second. Would you like to know what all they carried?
Sure, seeing as we didn't actually grab anything.
So, their lowest grade gear they had for sale were blues.
Oof, rare gear.
That was their low end shit. That was like their peasant crap. That was their awful shit. That was like the, we ain't gonna charge you nothing for that, boss. That's
Never let it be said we never make this game more difficult.
you do. You make this game
We
more
do on a regular day.
every
We
single
do, actually, we do it every session.
Literally, I can't think of so far one session where you two combined haven't either made things harder on yourselves through rolls or just through decisions. I even gave you a chance to basically bust your characters to hell and back and make them gods.
And we refused through roleplay.
Oh, I have to
Isn't
relook
that
up
just
the item.
Best way to do it, though.
If you are gonna make your gameplay hell on yourself, it really is the best way to do it. That is true.
Like in my brain, I was like, I could use this. I could use armor. I could use a better weapon. I was like, but then I was like,
So,
eh.
so here are like the worst things they had to offer. An antimatter rifle +2,
Oh God.
a berserker axe, and that's their peasant shit. You want to know what their high end
This one, I
was?
think we might have to make a portal to Las Vegas.
Want to know what their best thing that stuff they had was?
What?
So their best stuff was purple,
Oh God.
and it gets better. Ready?
Go ahead.
Dancing greatsword, dancing longsword, dancing rapier, dancing dwarven thrower, frost brands.
I want to point out, like,
Longsword
my
of
character
sharpness.
visibly doesn't have weapons, and the one person who has a weapon is a biological weapon that grew. And we chose not to take any of the pre-made stuff.
Not a single thing. There's longsword of sharpness. There is a freaking 9 lives stealer.
Oh God, that's kind of powerful.
Yeah. Basically, if it's a purple, they had it for sale.
God damn.
Like, that includes all +3 gear. That includes the augmented shit.
Like crap.
Maybe we'll come across Las Vegas in a different kind of peril next time.
You are, but their loot's gonna not be purple at the highest anymore. It's gonna be something else.
It doesn't mean we may or may not look in.
Yeah.
We might not look in. Who knows?
So funny story is when I was originally designing this, it was supposed to be originally a late game area, but I was like, no, I don't want to wait that long because I was thinking about having
late
it be.
game, definitely see that by the gear.
I was originally planning on it being like. Originally, it was supposed to be near the end, and it was going to have the orange.
Ah,
gonna
the
have-
legendary gear.
Yeah, it's going to have the legend. It's going to have the freaking legendary gear. But I was just like, no, I don't want to wait that long. That'd be a bummer. What if something happened and it didn't get used? That would suck. Thankfully, I've come up with a plan B. By the way, do you like Scimitar Speed? That was also there.
Oh God damn.
Yeah, that rifles, automatic pistols, revolvers.
And meanwhile, our character's like, we don't need much of that other than what we got on us.
Oath bow. Lots of really good shit. And you said, no.
Well, to be honest, all we truly needed at the moment were potions.
True.
It was just hilarious. I'm like, all the things.
Like,
You could
if I was
take-
playing an average D&D adventurer, sure, but I'm a Digimon.
Yeah. So I decided, you know what? They're doing something batshit that they're gonna regret later. Let's not be cheap and give them just some, common potions. Let's give them some good shit. And I mean, it turned out to be a
But,
great decision because it
but,
saved you in the
I
next
also-
episode.
I love the fact that within that episode, on her introduction, was Freya taking the vocal spotlight.
Yeah.
Where
Uh,
I relinquished it.
And I was very proud about that because I know she is not a fan of that.
And you've been getting real good taking the spot where I can't speak or I'm screwing up.
Or you're a walking danger to yourself and others.
True.
Yeah, you might be a new player, but I'm going to cut the bullshit here. You have been growing at a rapid rate, getting better fast. Like, to the point where, honestly, you should be far more proud and, honestly, more confident than you actually are. You've been doing an amazing job. Especially at reigning chaos herein.
Though it is fun sometimes when she's just like, yeah, I'm climbing the wall too.
The way you...
Speaking of, that's the next episode.
The times where you guys feed each other, I think, are my favorite moments, honestly. Because what that one's doing is batshit or disrespectful. And then you just decide, I'm gonna follow the bad influence. Let's go. Originally I had this, I wouldn't say expectation, but I had a theory. A bullshit theory I didn't think would last anyways. But I expected her to kind of bleed into your character a little more, make yours a little less self-destructive.
A little less gremlin.
Yeah, just a little. No, you brought Gremlin into that one instead. Which honestly, I feel like is better.
That said, some of Lucimon's more stoic tendencies of very much help me not go over the deep end. Your character's very much a safety net to Plasma.
And I will say, I'm going to just say, because we do have to talk about it eventually, your whole idea about you two having a relationship thing. I'm going to tell the people, we have decided on this. You will find out when I decide.
You'll find out exactly what it is.
You will find out when I decide.
Friends to lovers, lovers to enemies, who knows?
I can promise you not lovers. If we decide to go lovers, there are a fuck ton of questions we have not asked that need to be answered. How? When? Where?
I'm kidding, obviously.
In what way?
We're clearly friends to enemies.
I think this is very clearly a case of what we've talked about, where there's clearly a familial bond being made here.
Yeah.
Where you're kind of relying on each other a ton.
Insert, we're the best of friends. Right here.
I don't want to get copyrighted, so I'm not going to bother.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But play that in your head,
brain.
people. It is quite genuinely a good fitting song for this. Now, the thing is, I'm actually very excited for Season 2 to begin. Impatiently so. I'm actually very much looking forward to what comes next. And what the next Lord is. Yes, I've already decided who the next Lord is. Neither of you will be able to guess it, so don't even try.
Also, I just want to state it's still me talking about the episode as that this was the first episode where people actually got to see past Plasmon.
This is where we slowly started to leak in the person behind the Plaz.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie,
And
I'm surprised at how
it
little
wasn't
was on
just-
fire.
it was great getting to play that version of the other side of the character. Like, it comes in use every now and then when my brain doesn't go goblin mode.
Yeah. In fact, ironically enough, because you didn't go goblin mode, that was the smoothest, least on fire session of the whole lot. And it was also the one you made.
Even though near the beginning, when after we fought the Goblinmon, we crawled up the wall.
And by the way, Ogremon, give yourself a little more credit. You fought some Ogremon.
Yep.
Granted, I say that in the loosest sense, the one pretty much beat his own ass.
Aside from that one Ogremon stabbing his foot, the funniest part was, like, for me personally, was when the one fell in the pit. I'm like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Turns out, a metal spike through your skull. You're not okay.
Hey, it's the digital world. I don't know.
Sarcasm.
Could have had a squishy brain.
So, but now you've made your own enemy, and one that's really obsessed with killing a very specific member of your team. Freya. Now, I will say, I find this so funny, just how much you fed into your fate roll. Like, you guys got a high score. Ultimately, you guys needed a low score. And you guys got the second worst outcome that was achievable with that fate roll. The second worst achievable.
Oh yeah, that was our fate roll episode, wasn't it?
That was your fate roll. That was that Ogremon becoming obsessed with murdering you two. That was the cost of your fate roll being so high. And what's more is you still got such a high roll that he is coming back again. And he's gonna
that was due to our failure in combat. Next episode...
That was fate roll tied as well. Basically, I'm gonna kind of lift the screen here for just a couple seconds. Basically, to kill him would have been hard. Like, he was going to teleport one way or another. Now, it's not impossible.
It could have been possible.
Oh, there's a reason. I'm not going to tell you the reason. Because you're going to see it later. You're going to see it probably season 3. So I'm not going to tell you why yet. But there's a reason why. Him teleporting of his own accord, that was just dumb luck. You managed to make it to a specific threshold, and that's why. There was another threshold, if you had met, he would have just been removed artificially by an outside force. I prefer this outcome, honestly. It's more entertaining, funnier. As you're about to say?
I don't 100% remember exactly, so I'm just gonna ask Lucimon a question, and the DM is free to shoot down if she's free to answer or not.
Do you want to wait until she's back, or do you want to do it now?
Oh, she's not here at the moment.
Had to go bathroom.
Okay. Well, one of the things that I enjoyed just straight listening to in that episode was just when Lucimon went into the pirate bar. That was an enjoying thing to be witness to.
How did that accent go? I think I took inspiration from my character Johnny so far, I guess. I assume. Suddenly my memory is blanking, of course.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning the character.
Yeah, I believe I took tons of inspiration from my character who I loved, but stuff went down with him, so he never really got anywhere, unfortunately. But
the game in which he was in didn't last much longer.
Didn't last
after
much longer.
You left.
Huh?
After you and your character left that campaign with that DM, the game didn't last much after. We got 5 or 6 episodes after after all that?
Oh no. So it wasn't that I left; it's that I was constantly not sleeping well and missing it. So arguably worse.
Well, the game eventually stopped
Bummer.
there, but we're not here to talk about
But anyways,
another D&D game.
so yeah, I just remember taking inspiration from that. So it was very over the top, very. Aye, laddie, what can I get you to drink? Very much.
I love when you drank.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, what originally inspired that voice was a Sedith Fire Emblem abridged parody, and Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Turns out, if you want to make a good pirate voice, that's where you start. It'll get better, I promise. So you said you had a question for her. Do you want to run that by me before she gets here? Just in case.
Well,
Okay.
well, my question. I have a question for you that the DM may veto should he wish. I know that my character and the I know that my Digimon and my character are wildly different in personality. Would that how different is your character personality versus the personality of the Digimon for you?
Wildly.
Because we haven't seen behind the actual mask of Lucimon.
Actually, you've gotten the tiniest glimpse. But dear Lord, is it tiny.
Exactly.
You see, whereas
Like,
you're
haven't
often interacting with your Digimon half, for some reason she doesn't really... Now, if it's because she thinks Lucimon's annoying or whatever have you, I'll let her decide the why. But basically, she clearly and very painfully clearly doesn't really want to interact with Lucimon that much unless necessary.
Ooh.
Her reasons are her own. I will not assume. I will leave that to her to decide if she wants to clarify on or not.
I think it just really never occurred to me to do it. Like, sometimes I would think about it and then I forgot about it. And then I'd think about it again and I'm like, nah.
Now, to be fair, it's not like there's any punishment for not doing it. It's not like it's like a necessity or a demanded need.
Mhm.
I can also see why you probably wouldn't talk about it, seeing as when you started, it very much sounded like you had a Digivice and they were not a part of you, whereas I started out just straight up as is.
So,
Mhm.
no. And actually, it has been a part of her since her inception into this world. It's just
I
not
mean,
in
like,
her head.
The Digimon being like actually mixed in.
Yeah, no. The thing is that she's in a weird case. In a sense, this is almost like a possession, but in reverse. Instead of someone possessing her body, she's possessing someone else's body, basically. Think of it like that. It is a reversed possession.
My better explanation. I am the Frontiers crew. She was, before her merge, the O2 crew.
Close enough. I'd more say she's the
she had
survivor.
herself and her Digimon instead, me having both out the go.
Yeah, in her case, I would more classify her as OO.
Ah, the OG crew.
Think of her as the equivalent.
That's the kind of idea that I was having. And
you know,
then
like
merged.
the story Jedi
why.
gives.
Oh, damn.
You know the story Jedi gives about how once upon a time, while they worked together, they didn't mesh together well by default, and as a result, they were combative at times, and ultimately, because of that, failed. Think of this like kind of that, but their failure or success hasn't been decided yet. But it's very similar. Her and Lucimon are so radically opposite that even now it has already kind of created a little bit of friction already. And you already know of it too, the friction that it's caused. Lucimon is very codependent, very clingy, whereas Freya herself is not very codependent and not very clingy.
Ah. Thus, the gremlin has latched.
Mm. So it's kind of, in her case, it's very much the O crew, but the whether they succeed or fail hasn't been decided yet. But they are
See.
problematic to themselves, to each other, even a little bit.
For those who don't know Digimon, we're probably confusing you.
Oh, so much.
Go watch the OO crew.
My advice is, if you're not gonna watch the O1, the original Digimon Adventure, then you can always take the cheaper, easier route of just going for what is the OO crew, which is the Digimon Survive crew.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that game.
And someone who's played that game, let me tell you right now, yes, that includes the dark and the trauma and the it and the and the damn.
Oh, by the OO crew, you meant from Survive. I thought you meant like
So there's O1.
Agumon and his
Yeah.
Bessie.
Agumon and Tai, that is O1. OO
Yeah,
is
my
the
brain.
story. The people who supposedly had already been digidestined, but ultimately failed.
Ah, yes, the mystery bunch.
Yeah, the ones that clearly do
No
not
idea
have the
what
same
those are.
team. What?
I have no idea what those are.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who knows? Maybe Gamin is not interpretation. We'll find out someday.
Yeah.
Maybe someday we'll get a version 2 of this game.
It's possible. It's not. Let me put it like this: a version 2 of this game, once all is completed and done, is not impossible. I would need a bit of time, obviously, because exhaust, break, ow.
But hey, at least you'd have over half the work done.
I'd have half the work done, but I would also need not only for you guys to make whole new characters, obviously, which would also take time, but I wouldn't want to repeat things that I've done already. I would want to kind of reinvent it in some ways.
Or who knows? Maybe you get a
Mhm.
whole new crew.
I would love that. That would be cool. I don't know. I would love it if it's like a whole. Even if it's not like, you two and Alar are doing it, but now it's you two and some extra new people. Awesome. If not, oh well. I would just need time. I will refuse to rush it because, like a certain company out there, I am stubborn as fuck and will not let it be
I think
bad.
you mean a lot of companies.
No. A lot of companies are making them bad. Where there's a certain company who have made a good game and they're stubborn about ensuring it stays good.
Let's just put it this way: it's currently out there. But allow us to speak of the next episode, where we ended with Nightmon showing up, and I was like, "Hey, yo, Plasnightmon exists."
No, that was the episode before. You already had Plasnymon by the time of episode 6.
No, I mean like in comparison. You're like, I was like, "Hey, yo, look at me. You're a Nightmon. I'm Plasnightmon."
Oh. Yeah. Knight versus
You're
Munchkin.
a you. And then it turned out that he also had something on him, and we destroyed that. I forget if it was a spike or not. Was it? No. Was it a necklace? It was a neck thing, right?
I
On
think so.
On Nightmon?
No. You had it right the first time.
Oh.
It was a spike, but it was awkwardly placed. No,
And
sorry.
turns
sorry,
out
no.
he was just dead.
Yeah.
That was a shame.
Sorry.
I wanted to have night-on-night action.
Correction. It wasn't a spike. It was a bracelet.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
I'm glad you guys figured that one out.
But this was also the episode where we actually came to the agreement that if a fight lasted like less than 2 turns, we got our form back, so we could keep using it.
No. That was during Shogun Gekkomon, where we decided that. Where you try to do the All Might moment. This
No,
was
like
just bled over.
that's where we had talked. That's where we started talking about it was properly finalized on this episode.
This has been, mind you, this was always kind of the plan. If you kind of used it like this, I wasn't really going to be hard up about Digivolution slots or anything like that. I wasn't going to let it kind of ruin the game flow of it. I was completely against that. For obvious reasons. You're a Digimon. If you're no longer able to Digivolve because of this non-existent effort, why are we doing a Digimon campaign then?
No, I feel like the evolution points are based around how much you can use it in a combat, as you had explained it to me.
It's just there are plenty of places where it did not. The original thing that inspired me did not have it set up that way. It was if you used it, doesn't matter if it was for some small thing or for some touching moment, that counted, and I hated that. It pissed me off.
I love that in battle it counts, but in the narrative, when you're doing it narratively, you are free to have it for that narrative bit.
Yeah, I preferred that. I felt like it was far less punishing. It made the Digivolutions feel less limited. And when I was originally looking at the original doc, because you gotta remember, there was an original doc I was trying to use, and dear God, was it awful. It was like, okay, so why play this at all when you could just go play Blades in the Dark, which was better? Because that's how it was designed originally. It was heavily about Blades in the Dark format, mechanics, design, punishment for doing stuff, for just doing stuff for narrative purposes. It was just like, no, screw you. I'll reinvent this whole bastard from top to bottom.
So we're not just learning the lore of each episode now. We're learning the lore of
the game
how this
itself.
game came to be.
You're getting the full deep dive on this sucker. Now, I will say, originally I wasn't going to give you guys powerful items. Originally. But then a thought popped in my head. Which sounds more fun? Letting you two have powerful items and go ape shit, or having the same balancing and the same formatting from every other D&D campaign.
You say that, meanwhile us,
I'll teach potions. Just potions. Oh, you got rare shit? Nah, I'll just take potions.
We honestly just needed potions.
The worst part is there was even a piece of gear that would have literally allowed you to heal every frickin' turd called the Ring of Regeneration.
Yeah. Power fantasies are cool, but I think what we've done is even cooler. We're doing an underdog story.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was just like, what the hell? Did they not hear me? They have the best freaking gear they're gonna find. Ooh, no, I like this better. Yes, make things hard for you as I throw opponents who are hugely high level. And that leads
everyone loves the underdog for a reason, friend.
And I would tell you right now, you guys aren't just underdogs. You are the underbeaten, drugged up, already out the door dog.
Oy.
Your last fight, would you like to know what level it was for so long? Just against Lady Devamon after some smack talk.
Well, you said you brought her into the fucking teens, didn't you?
She was level 18. 18. Thank God one of you didn't do some smack talk, because if you had leaned into it, she would have been level 20.
Well, the idea of that whole thing was that, good cop, bad cop kind of thing in my brain. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be the butthole. I'm gonna get in trouble.
And dear God, did you?
And then good cop gets out of the trouble.
Yeah.
And in the end, it worked too.
It worked because you turned into a demon monster from hell. You turned into Phantom Plasmon, and they had to gang up on your ass, or they would have died.
I love how you don't have a modifier on charisma and you rolled an @19. I relied on someone with no charisma.
Yeah.
Not to say your character doesn't have it, but your stats say otherwise.
Yeah.
And damn am I glad you rolled that 19.
Same.
Plaz might not be here.
Plaz wouldn't be there. You'd have to make a new character. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow freaking something went wrong and all of a sudden now we have 2 people dead, started from scratch.
But in the end, it did work out, which led to us eventually learning a bit more about our other characters' backstories.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and my brother, you and my brain. What was the name of your
Orpheus.
Orpheus, Orpheus, yeah.
Mhm.
Like my brain was like, if Orpheus went to your place, did he look like a Digimon or a human?
You know what's the best part? I haven't even gotten to the better part of this yet.
Because you said Orpheus, not Orpheus Mon, so I'm confused.
And you just heard a Digimon call Orpheus her child, her son.
Yeah, I'm confused as
Good.
a player and a character.
Good.
Like, there's not supposed to be any people left.
Mm-hmm. Only Digimon in this world. I love what I do. Now, here's the funnier part is that technically you're going to get some small answers the next session.
Ooh.
But dear God, is someone going to have a lot more questions. And by someone, I do mean Lucymon's going to have a fuck ton of questions.
Oh my.
Because not only is Lady Devamon saying son, but so is Omnimon. And as far as either of you two know, and your knowledge is limited on this, Digimon aren't known for live birth.
And meanwhile, I'm the feral kid in the corner. Yeah!
Probably, yes. Probably, yeah.
I'm like that one kid that's permanently on timeout.
I was going to try and save this, but I figured, you know what? There's no better time to bring this up than in the lore video. How'd you like your dead uncle?
I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to kill him myself.
Don't worry. It gets
Tad
better.
let down.
It gets better. It gets so much better.
But, hey, he's off the. He can at least be off the list.
I don't know if I do that yet. I don't know if I do that yet. I'd probably hold off. I just hold off on that.
Well, the mark was already made when I heard he was dead.
Yeah, I'd get ready to remove that. And probably add whole new marks. Yeah.
So,
So,
just a little bit for my character, not Plasma, but my character. Though my character is very much against killing and murder, and it does happen, my character very much, as stated in one episode, has a list. And in my brain, I'm like, she's had this list for a while. Only now that she's in this world and this body, she can act on it, and they're the only people she's gonna want to properly deal with. So far, she's learned through a one-on-one. One is dead. The other, she just heard is dead. One that she didn't expect would be alive, as that one was immediately crossed off list because, you know, they were dead. Then there's one that's doesn't have a cross mark on it. But then after that, there was another cross mark.
and now there's something more on the horizon.
So yeah, there was a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 marks to make.
Yeah.
Good old DM knows 4 of them.
Okay. So I just made a fate roll. Figured I might as well while I was at it.
The Afterlore Fate Roll! Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Taking our own graves.
Um.
uh,
Fuck.
give us the number, boss.
Oh, just 600.
Oh,
That only has one outcome attached to it.
ouch.
Yeah. Season 2 is gonna be a bitch for you guys.
Hey, season 1 was a bit of one.
Yeah, this is gonna make that look like Candy Lane.
But like the final episode after that, like after we had gone through our backstory, we'd actually talked with Lady Devamon, and we had gotten into the submarine, which straight up a little confusing. How the submarine's there, and I was like, I wonder if this submarine's a Digimon. No, it's just a submarine. I was like,
And a
what?
World War II submarine.
I know, that's confused me ever since it was mentioned.
Good. It's intended. It's supposed to confuse you. Because it's not a thing.
But when we went into that that big ass bubble area, like my brain thought future tech, not 1920s or 1880s fucking in the midst of fucking not being allowed to drink, no bars prohibition era.
You didn't think tyranny would be tyrannical, basically.
I figured people would be getting wasted in bars.
Nope. This place is basically New Atlantis thanks to Marina Angemon was literally the picture definition of extreme, endless, unhinged tyranny to rival any dictator in history.
Yeah, this is also another episode where Lusamon very much got to take more of a center stage in the first half than I did, as she did most of the talking. Like, sure, I started the conversation, and then it was like, who's in control? Me or Plasmon? Who's in control? Me or Plasmon? I thought that was a little fun. And I was like, alright, let's give the table to our bestie friend.
I am going to say it's been interesting that you've actually decided to utilize Google and Alexa less than Freya.
Yeah.
You've been leaning
I'm
more and
slowly
more.
using them less.
Now, granted,
But when I need them, I need them.
Alexa does still chime in, but dear Lord, she's been having troubles with that corruption. And mind you, the worst part is her corruption is separate from the corruption you've taken in. Yours is just like I have willingly corrupted myself. This is like faulty hardware and faulty software at the same time.
Hey, at least I got the result of power, which is what I was after in that one episode.
I mean, no. But yes, but no. Ultimately, you never needed that. All you had to do was utilize your own power.
Well, that's because my character was using heavily on flavor, which after that session, you and I had a conversation about how much I used flavor.
And how it was a little on the too much side, to the point of self-destruct.
Which we agreed I wouldn't use it as much.
Which I'm so glad we had the talk. I'm so glad that that's what's going to happen. Because I'm scared that you're not going to survive Season 2 at this rate.
But, during the whole, like, well, Lusamon was having the conversation, and then they mentioned the character that I let loose was my uncle. The whole, like, hand clenching and bleeding and eyes going from white to red. I was so glad you let me pull that off.
Between the corruption and just pure hate, if I said no, I would want someone to smack the shit out of me.
Also, Lusamon, I was so ready and willing for you to actually try and pry harder than you did.
Yeah. I know she's not talking much. She's just like that. Don't worry.
Don't worry, she'll have her own section of talking. Trust us.
I mean, I would like that to be the case, but she is
Like
very
example.
shy.
Well, then, let me start it off. As we go back a few episodes. What did you think of your interaction with Shogun Gekkomon? There.
This fucking
Freya.
pipe.
Yeah.
Oh, that I loved it. That was fun. I actually wasn't expecting to be given the pipe, honestly. I was expecting to get it rejected.
Why is that?
I just thought he would probably say, oh, no, you can't have it. No, like that kind of thing.
Did it really surprise you when it actually happened?
Yeah, it was like an amusing surprise. Because, first of all, the size, because he's huge. And I thought just because, I was thinking because he's that big, he's going to say, no, you can't smoke, you know?
So, when you were brought in, and that was still your first session, how did you think that entire first session was going to go?
I was expecting it to go a little better, but when I was like hurting myself and everything, I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna kill myself here," because it just was going
Like,
so
that
fast.
entire fight was you and the foe fighting me, just ouch, ouch, ouch.
Exactly.
But later on in the series, in season 1, you proved how well you were at actually fighting, and we knocked it off to you being new to the body you were in.
Mm-hmm.
I will say one probably really nice touch on top of that is that when it came down to it, I didn't want the fact she's rolling ones to be feeling bad. Like, if someone's rolling nat ones and you're making it so it sucks and it's degrading or depressing, I feel like you failed as a DM. You gotta make nat ones almost as funny or as rewarding as getting nat 20s, really. They gotta feel good. They gotta be funny. They gotta be enjoyable. If they suck and they ruin your experience, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to your player? Your player didn't come in so they could roll nat ones and kind of get treated like shit. They came in because they wanted to have fun. So that's the thing you should probably do, is make it so that even though a nat 1 is rolled and you take some damage from your own weapon, it's still funny or fun.
Well, in my brain, I'm kind of like, in the game that I'm running, I actually have a plan for nat 1s when they happen. I'm gonna classify them as mixed successes. You get away with it, but there's consequences. That way the nat 1 can still help you out, just maybe you take damage while you're doing it. Or maybe, some of the enemies run away. XYZ. That way it's not always just you hurting yourself. Because, well, that can work.
Yeah.
Because, well, that can work. For some players, it might not work as well as other people would want. And I have learned that from a game that I watched called Candela Obscura.
So, did you guys enjoy the neat little moment of where your classes were changed for achieving corruption?
Yeah, I did.
Well, it was definitely neat.
Neat little gimmick.
Yes, though I will say that next time you get on a player, you should probably tell them. You might not get other players that are as well-meaning as us.
Yeah. I figured it's not like it's happening all the time, really. It's only when it's unintended. Which Considering your
I
track
very much
record.
love the idea that, yeah, I am a pseudo magic fighter, but then the uncontrollable rage of the negative energy that's within.
I just kind of my whole to give a little bit both lore and kind of an idea of what my inspiration from Heroes is. I feel like when you're doing something unintentional and it's something corrupting, I don't feel like you would function the way you normally would. I feel like
No,
you would function, think, behave, act, conduct radically differently. So I figured, this makes sense for whenever it happens unintentionally.
yeah,
It'd be
thus
like this.
Plaz and Plaz Nightmon go from like one being a childish gremlin, other to being a gallant knight, to the Phantom Plasmon to being the spectral. Your soul is mine.
Speaking of souls, how'd you like that little thing there where you got to actually mess with somebody's soul?
Oh god, that was cool. That whole fight was just I don't think we're gonna survive this. To please by all the gods and hells that exist, let this work.
Yeah, you guys have become hell. Walking hellions. In fact, honestly, a part of me kind of hopes that just for the sake of for drama, for lore, you becoming 100% corrupted is honestly very appealing. A little bit.
Not to me though. I don't want to make a new character.
The reason why is because basically you would become not only the ultimate evil, but you would have quite a sizable effect on your dear, dear friend Freya as well. A very huge effect. I don't want to say exactly what it is in case you guys wind up doing it.
Huh.
Hopefully.
Now I'm curious.
What?
Now I'm curious.
Well, the goal is to use it as few times as is possible, only in moments of dire circumstance, i.e., moments where I think we'd probably die, or the DM says, probably a good idea to get better, more powerful here. So only by DM's advice, or oh shit, we're about to die, will I take dark form. Unless it's a narrative where I am so angry and darkness overwhelms me, and I am an edgy lord.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen in season 3 or 4. Although, I will say there are certain things in 4 and 3 I cannot wait for. I am going to hit the gas. Hard.
Speaking of going hard, during the whole conversation with Lady Leomon, when I was exiting the room, how I was like, you don't need a... Oh, my brain. You don't need a revolution. You need a rebellion. I felt so cool.
I can't.
And I was imagining it, like, I imagined, like, when I said it, my eyes went bright red. In my imagination.
I have no clue whether to call that cringe, cool, or just lots of cringe. It was something, and it was hammy as hell, whatever it was.
It was
Brava.
also awesome, and in the moment.
I will say, I kind of hope we have more. The thing is, when it comes to Seasman, we're getting like lots of really awesome like moments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm definitely the center stage Mon at the moment.
Yeah, I kind of wish a certain someone, would also not necessarily be center stage, but I don't know, would be a bit more vocal with the world. Not a lot, but at least a little.
I see her character as the stoic one. there to rein back those who won't rein themselves.
It's just, how do I put this? I don't feel like she's doing bad at all. Anyone says I think she's doing bad at it, screw you. You're an idiot. It's just that I kind of wish she would interact just a little bit more, so that this way it'd be a little easier to think of ways to set things up. Like with you, I know if by now I've learned that if I put something in your face, you'll interact with it now.
9 times out of 10.
With her though, just placing it in her face, I don't feel like is really enough. Or if it is enough, I don't know her triggers yet. So it's kind of harder to set stuff up for her.
Well, you did learn one trigger, and that was with Shogun Gekomon.
Yeah, apparently every character has to
Front
smoke.
on there.
Apparently every character has to smoke like a freaking chimney on freaking drugs.
Look, just give every situation a cigarette, or a cigar, and there you go.
I guess. I have to basically input like a smoking section for all
Though
bars.
you did catch her attention when you said that there were Norse stuff down in the water.
True. In Atlantis territory.
Yeah. Oh, I so want to go there.
Old Atlantis territory.
I want to go there, so guys, you.
By the way, thank you for sliding into that so perfectly. Speaking of Old Atlantis, would you guys like to do an event soon for Old Atlantis?
That would
Yes,
be cool.
Pretty please?
See, look, you already got her going. All you have to do is tug on backstory stuff.
So, the thing is,
For her.
it is backstory, but I'm not going to have this be 1v1 this time.
Ooh.
This time, the events are different. From here forwards, after those... The reason why those events were just you guys alone was because they were
not
too...
recorded.
And not recorded. It's because they were too backstory focused. To the point of where their entire format function was derived around it. And
Also,
it was also
the
the
singular word. Spoilers.
Yes. There's no amount of bold, italics, underlines, or exclamation marks to make it accurate enough. I cannot highlight it hard enough. Spoilers are why.
Like, we've already spoiled some things, but what was in mine? Ooh, spoiler.
Oh yeah, if we got into hers, there would have been lots of spoilers there too.
Also, I want to say just for mine, and this isn't even much of a spoiler, I disappointed Gamin in mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all the spoiler you're getting.
Oh no, I'll give stats. Because there's no way to use that to spoil the actual backstory. So basically, out of these two, they both had the same amount of time. And they both had the same formatting for their events, even though everything else within it was radically different. One of them, I can even still have the score, I think, too, written down. Yes, I still have that shit. Power of Nerd. So, my girl here got a grand total of... Hold on. 6 in total responses. 3 to strength, 1 to her dex, 1 to wisdom, and 2 to charisma. Smab got 3.
I was a lot less active in mine when it comes to me being solo. If anyone has seen on the first first episode, I take time to respond and come up with things. Whereas if there's a second player out there, I can riff off of them or have them take over, so I'm not slowing things down and having to think it all.
The funny thing is, I even pre-warned her that you're going to be on a timer. Here's the amount of time you have. Try to give quick responses. Nope.
Hey, that's just me as how I am.
But because the overall number of things listed here was so small, she only gave like 3 responses total, I was like, well, I can't justify a really freaking good item with only this.
No, and you didn't have to. I got the best part of all. I got my own personal backlore.
Nice.
You got some backlore. You also got 1 extra strength.
Yep. I think the backlore was worth it alone.
Yeah. Meanwhile, she got an increase of like freaking 2. and tons of other buffs.
And don't think that's the DM playing favorites.
It is.
That's how the dice roll.
I actually went out of my way and was just like, do you want to do this again so you can get some better shit? I even finally just said screw it and told her what all was awaiting and it was hidden away. And I was like, no. Like, I feel like that should have been a hint for how hard the coming fights were going to be by the end of this, even just this session.
Well, let me say this.
This season.
You remind me when I was younger playing games where I was always underleveled for the fights I'd go into in my games, so I was always the underdog, and I got that same feeling now, and it's so fun, and I hate when I miss a session, which did happen once. I slept through. My body wouldn't let me wake up.
Let's jog that back a little bit because I was already kind of not doing well myself, mentally or emotionally. Anyways, so it ultimately worked out, even if I couldn't at the time see it that way. And thank her, because I was pretty far gone. Once again, patron saint of mercy here.
No.
Sweetie, my whole family calls you that. On both sides.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
My parents and my little sister call you that by now.
I didn't know you had... Oh, I must have forgot you had one.
Had one what?
Little sister.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had siblings. I must have forgot you had siblings.
Yeah, I have one little sister. She is a full-grown adult, married, lives with her husband. And you're gonna be.
And she's the little sister?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, remember, I'm almost 30.
I don't know why, but I pegged you as 24.
Okay, hold on. Let's roll that back. Never say peg. I ain't into you like that. Look, my girl might be able to get away with that. You do not.
Note, say the word or use it in a sentence more often.
If you want me laughing, yes, please do. If you want more stupid jokes like the clown I am, then yes, by all means.
Essentially, I didn't pin that information.
Mm.
You got lore that wasn't even in the game today.
Da.
But yeah, like after that, like it was mentioned by Lady Leomon that Basho Leomon, I think you had named him.
Mm-hmm. That is the technical.
After the bangle would be off or the spike or whatever, that he'd have a very specific problem that I myself have dealt with, and that is wanting to Alt F4. If I recall. I am waiting for that role play in Season 2.
The thing is, I'm going to make that optional. You can either do it full roleplay, or we can just do it be some roles, if you'd rather. I know that that is a sensitive subject for you. I don't have as much of an issue with it because of how much I've kind of... I wouldn't say grown past it, but because I've stubbornly forced myself to confront it so many times by now, that I am more, not numb, but braced, I guess, is the word here. It doesn't bother me like it used to. The topic itself really, other than bringing up my story of what I did and why I did it, which both were stupid AF. My girl already knows the stupidity of it all.
But we won't get into things that are that dark of our own personal history.
So basically,
I don't think people need to know that.
So all I'm going to say is that if you want to roleplay it, we can. If you would rather just it be up to a dice roll on how well it goes, cool. I'm fine with that as well. If you want, we can even do that right now.
No. I kind of want to do a bit of role play with it because I think I'm going to be adding a small little bit extra to the character's story that revolves around why she may feel that's a topic that she should help someone with.
Even though your situations are so different. I find that
she doesn't want to try to help.
I find that part almost so... I find it so plasma I find it to be very Plasmon. I haven't gone through the same situation as you. Fuck it, I'm gonna help you anyways. It screams Plasmon.
Well, maybe not the same, but similar.
Yeah. It just seems so fitting that it's like, I appreciate this. This is very fitting. I don't know if that made any sense.
Oh, it did.
Those who have more experience than me will understand it. And will probably explain it better in the comments.
In that final episode, like, at the end, when I had shunted, when I explained what I was actually going to do, I wasn't, like, you're like, oh, you can't absorb it. I was like, that's not what I'm doing. I want to be the other magnet pushing it out, essentially. And you let it happen, and then it actually worked, thanks to my action surge. And I'm also shocked at my using Barbarian Rage.
The thing is, I don't want to go too far into this one because there are some bits of it that are lore I'd rather you just experience, but I'll go into what I can. Okay?
But if you don't want to, friend.
The action surge is not the real reason you succeeded, it's just that you happen to get a better roll, more than anything. And the Barbarian Rage is the source of that. In a sense, think like not like a magnet, but like magnet poles. There's already so much of one, to the point of where it is creating a force. You are trying to exert a similar opposing force. Because the forces can't occupy the same thing, and they're equal in power from two separate ends, all they do is repel. It's basically like that. It is like a magnet, basically. Mm-hmm. It's more just the energy is from an external source that is not the same. And it doesn't help that pretty much it's not of the same origin. And technically, your negative energy is... I think the best way to describe it is your negative energy is an outer force, an outer natural force that you've taken in. Whereas theirs is more it was a natural force, but it was put in unnaturally, is the way to view it.
So essentially, I was a secret weapon without knowing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were... You know how they talk about in 01 about how Wargreym's the trump card?
Yeah.
In this, you were, unbeknownst to you, the trump card. And just for shits and giggles, I don't mind saying this because I'm not going to tell you how. Because, I'm going to tell you right now, the next season, you are no longer the trump card. You are the liability.
I love how you just said the season as if it's a seizure season.
I might as well play. It might as well be. You really do. Because honestly, you're going to do a 180 hard next season.
We'll see how that works out. But after I had done that, I loved the entire narration that you and I had put towards the de-evolution of our BBEG of this season. That kinda had me tearing a bit. It was beautiful.
Really?
Yeah. Especially when I had Xanarkand Lo-Fi in the background.
Oh, that was brilliant. That just worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
Before anyone asks, no, that wasn't planned. I ain't know she was doing that shit. It just worked.
I had the entire playlist in lo-fi mode playing in the background.
And again, I knew none of this, so it just worked out beautifully.
Those are some of my favorite parts of this the final episode of season 1. To which my question becomes, Freya, what did you think of the last 2 episodes?
Mm. Yes, I thought that they were very interesting. Some of the stuff had me thinking a bit, but like some of the stuff that I got for the what do you call it? Like the personal, like the thing that DDM sent me about some stuff, and I don't know, it was intense, that's for sure. I was not expecting it to be as difficult as it was, but it was fun.
Yeah, I kind of have already given Smat. The thing is, I kind of the backstories they originally gave me, I've kind of tweaked a lot, added a lot of stuff. To the point where they probably want to knock me upside the head, understandably and relatably. Um,
Not at all.
I've kind of added something that wasn't originally part of her character at all. And ironically, someone, I'm not saying who, came pretty close to understanding it pretty damn well. Which I almost wonder if maybe that was me like overplaying my hand a bit. Or maybe I just made the hand too ham-fisted, maybe. So I hope that even though someone's kind of already kind of got not the whole thing, but has like a really good chunk of it, I hope that they don't lose interest in it. I hope.
We'll have to see how everything goes.
Yeah, it's been. I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. This has been exhausting. Fun. So much fun. So enjoyable. But dear Lord, I have never worked my brain harder than I have today. I'm not gonna lie, if I ever decide to make a video game design resume, this is going right in the front. This whole campaign is going right up front because this has been so much fun, exhausting, so much work, so much thinking, so much plotting, so much tweaking, so much twisting. Oh my god. How am I even functional or alive? I do not know.
And with that, I think we've talked for almost 2 hours here. And I
Yep.
think that's a good point to
Oh.
wrap up on.
Almost, yeah. I think there's only a couple things left, really.
Lay
First,
it on the table, DM.
first off, what Thursday would you guys like to do the event? Just know it will be together. Yes, it'll be recorded. Would you like to do that this Thursday or next?
No, I'm good with either one.
Oh, we could do this with this one.
So we'll do it this Thursday, same time as today.
All right.
I'll
Same
give
Digi time, same Digi channel.
I'll give you guys a little heads up. Yes, it's going to be in Old Atlantis.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you right now, you don't have to worry about drowning. You're welcome.
Yay.
And I hope you've all enjoyed season 1 of Afterlore.
Especially since season 2 is only going to get more batshit, more crazy, and knowing these two, a lot harder. By a lot.
Sweet.
Eventually, that hardness is going to oversee the curve by which we can deal with.
Probably at this rate. Probably
We'll
mostly
have to recruit a
Plasmon.
third member to solve the problem.
Don't get my hopes up. I would love to get a third member in on this. Like, I've been actually asking these two if they know of anyone who would be willing to be a third member to this. I've asked my own family as well. Their answer was pretty understandable. Walking away and eating. So, I mean, fair. But like I said, I don't care if it's someone who has no experience with Digimon, no experience with D&D, or no experience with both. This game is designed intentionally around being pretty much focused on just fun and not really so much the other two. I am going to say that I cannot promise season 2 starting this very coming Tuesday. Depends on if I'm still exhausted from this season or not. If I am not exhausted, then we will definitely do so. I will make sure to inform my players sometime around probably Sunday-ish.
You know what, DM? You did such a great job. I think you deserve a week off
Um,
after Thursday.
Yeah.
um, sorry, my brain is slowly trying to fry itself because there's so much. And there's still stuff we even haven't gotten into yet. Like, there's still stuff that, honestly, these two have not figured out yet. There's still plenty these two haven't figured out yet. And there are certain things that these two kind of have guesses on, but whether or not they have them right, we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I've hoped you've laughed at us, laughed with us. I've hoped you enjoyed all of the chaos, the shenanigans, the absurdity, especially since it's not going to get any more grounded in logic or sanity anytime soon. It's only going to get crazier from here. Especially considering what's about to go down in Season 2. I wish I had a preview, but because no art talent, we do not have a preview. All I can tell you is tune in either next week or 2 weeks from now. And I hope you guys also tune in this Thursday. See ya.
Bye. Hope you enjoyed the Afterlore.
See ya.